guys, we of course will be going through the worst team in the NFL today. Of course, it is Father's Day, so we're into the Carolina Panthers. So for any fans of you guys, I mean, if there is any anymore, yeah, I'll be talking about Bryce Young and stuff like that. Either way, let's get this over with. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL, of course. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy the Carolina Panthers 2024 roster grades. Obviously, this is a team that is coming off a season where they won 2 games. So, yeah, it's not great for them, but I will say they did get better, which I guess is something. But, yeah, obviously, we always start with quarterbacks, so I mean, I guess that's where we're going to start today. Either way, though, Bryce Young, obviously the #1 pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. He, last year, had an 11 touchdown, 10 interception first season, 2,800 yards, and technically 2,900. But really, let's be honest, guys, his really only good game was that week 8. No, where is it? There we go. Was that week 16 game where they played against Joe Barry. And obviously, if you don't know who Joe Barry is, well, he's not a very good defensive coordinator. So, if 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, the best game of the season, for most good quarterbacks, it's not. But for him, it was. So, I mean, that's what it was. Obviously, got shut out the last 2 weeks. Obviously, it wasn't all him on this season, but he kind of wet the bed, and he also was just awful under pressure and had absolutely no pocket presence, which is what we thought he was going to be really good with coming out of the draft. His arm talent was minimal, and he obviously really struggled. That's the truth there. But obviously, didn't have any weapons, so we'll keep him there too. But yeah, Bryce Young he's not the greatest. Andy Dalton's a bad backup. Obviously, he had the best game for a quarterback on this team, and he was the freaking backup. First played in week 3, they lost 37-27, but again, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. He's a serviceable backup. Again, he's going to throw the ball around the yard. Jack Plummer's bad. I mean, he was like the best player on Cal when he was there, but what is his name? How am I forgetting his name? He plays for the Colts. 2023 draft. Where is he? He tore his ACL last year. Where is he? His last name is Scott. Let me see. I know I'm getting way off track here, but where is he? Scott, Cal, football, 2023. Let's see if I get it. Daniel Scott. There we go. I don't know what happened to Daniel Scott. Where is he? He was their best player for sure, though. Like, this guy's actually pretty good. I know he tore his ACL. No, he's still on the Colts. They're just not showing his depth chart. Whatever, when we get to the Colts, I'll talk about him. Either way, bro, yeah, Jack Plummer, they're on the same team. Either way, though, yeah, Jack Plummer's a bum. Either way, for quarterback, I'll give them a D. Do I give him a D+? He's better not give him a D. So, I'm not the biggest hater on Bryce Young. People think he is literally the worst thing since Satan. But, me personally, I'm giving him a D. He was really bad last year, and I mean, I really don't expect much. You can say give him a pass like Trevor Lawrence, but I'm still giving him a D because, you know what? Yeah, screw it. D. I mean, I don't like him at all. I don't think he's a good player, but I'm not completely, like, over the top on him. Like, there's something there. 10 points. Either way, though, that also a running back. The Panthers running backs. This is actually a group last year that was pretty bad overall. I'll say one thing, though. I mean, they have some depth. Like, honestly, this isn't the worst group I've seen, but first, the #1 back, Chuba Hubbard last year was obviously the most productive player on this offense, obviously outside of, what is it called? Oh my god, Adam Thielen. But either way, he had 902 yards last year on 3.8 yards per carry, which is not his fault. The offensive line created literally no penetration for them. It wasn't that they weren't creating holes, it's just there was no oomph, so he had to basically break a tackle every single time he crossed the line of scrimmage. 9 carries, though, so they gave him the football. Honestly, he's in the worst back, but again, he just doesn't have elite vision. He's kind of slow, doesn't accelerate too well. Obviously, not a big play threat at all, as you can see by this. But I will say this: he is somewhat opportunistic in the red zone. But for a guy who was getting targeted way too much, yeah, there's a good thing that you got Jonathan Brooks, who of course is injury prone. But I really like him in the second round there. He's not the fastest back either, but he's faster, and he also is really good at elusiveness. We'll see how again that injury he suffered. I think it was mid-season last year. Affects him, but more importantly for Jonathan Brooks, I think if this guy can again become that shotgun back for them, he could be really good as a third down threat. But obviously, he's the best, by far the best back on this team. Miles Sanders again was a product of that Eagle system when he had a career here. Outside of that, he's been pretty bad his whole career. So yeah, he can break a big play once in a while. He even did it a couple times last year. So I'll say that about him. Rashad Penny, he's disappeared the past 2 years. No, really, last year. He was really good with the Eagles in 5 games in 2021 too. Obviously, he had a really big resurgence to the end of the season, but kind of like Cam Akers. My guess is you won't be hearing much about him this season either. Either way, running back for them, I'll give them a C-. You could argue it's a D+, but I think there's worse. I mean, Chuba Hubbard, he's at least going to give you something resembling a #1 back, even if he isn't very good. And obviously Jonathan Brooks and even Miles Sanders at times is serviceable. But again, they got 2 backs that I'm pretty confident will at least be able to do something. So I mean, I guess that again that works. And like there's answers at least. So that'll come out to 12 points. Now let's go wide receiver. Oof. Okay, guys, there's no denying that the Panthers did get better at receiver this offseason. Of course, it was arguably the worst group in the league outside of the Titans were better. But either way. Yeah, they definitely got better. Of course, they traded for Deontay Johnson. This is a guy who, again, never has been... Honestly, that 2021 season was really an outlier. He actually was a good deep threat, too, in that season as well. But he's never been a true number 1, in my opinion. Again, he was really good in 2021. But since then, just, again, hasn't really gotten the same way. Absolutely, infamously, didn't have a touchdown in 2022 before, again, George Pickens kind of took over those targets in 2023 with the Steelers. But I do think he will fit the, what is it called? The scheme that they're going to try to run with Bryce really well. Really solid underneath the actor at times. But I really think, again, if he's able to, again, win over the top, Bryson will at least have some sort of, what is called deep threat there. Adam Thielen, again, he was basically the team's entire offense last year. Somehow at 1,000 yards. Yeah, 9.8 yards per reception isn't great, but yeah. Oh, wait, who was it? No. If he didn't have 1,000 yards, he would, him and Jarvis Landry would be the only players ever to have what is called 100 receptions, but not 900 yards. Again, just wanted to say that there. Either way, though, yeah, Adam Thielen was good last year for them, but don't expect him to have even near the same workload. But he does get open. He's kind of reliable, so yeah, that's good. But yeah, he's obviously well past his prime. What is he, 34 now? Yeah, 33. Jesus. Xavier, again, coming out of the draft, there's some stuff to like about him, obviously, but I really, again, when I look at him, I'm like, that guy's potentially be number 1 receiver. Just watch him play. He's fast and tall. You just don't really find that too often. Again, his routes are a little clunky. There's no way around that. But again, he's pretty good there, and he has a really good release package. Again, if he's a little bit more explosive, though, that's really what I want to see from him. I think this guy could lead this team in receiving yards. Jonathan Mingo, he's bad. I mean, just to be really honest, he couldn't get open. I don't even know how he caught that 40-yard reception. For a guy who's supposed to, again, be kind of like reliable on those contested catches. Is this spazzing out? Yeah, it is. I guess we can kind of talk about Jonathan Mingo for a second. Jesus. I think I'm going a little crazy right now. Either way, though. Yeah, Jonathan Mingo, he's there. But yeah, he's just not good. I'm just going to wait a second for this, though. Alright, the problem is fixed. Either way, though, yeah, Jonathan Mingo, he's a bum. Taylor Marshall Jr., probably even bigger bum. Actually a really promising rookie season. Not really, I'm joking. But still, 2022 was his best year. Only caught 1 touchdown in his career. He also sucks. Doesn't run good routes either. And it gets even worse. Amir Smith-Marset, kind of a deep threat, but that's about it. David Moore caught that 1 touchdown against, what is it called, for Seattle a couple years ago. He actually had 6 in 2020. Jesus. But, yeah, he's also a bum. Yeah, there's just a lot of bums in this receiving core. I think that's really the best way to put it. They got like 3 receivers that I'm okay with. The rest kind of suck. So, it's not the greatest receiving core. I'll give them a C. Deontay Johnson's probably a number 2. Do I give him a C minus? I don't know if that's fair. Because I think they got 3 receivers that are like, honestly, all could be argued to be number 2 receivers. So, C minus maybe is probably where I'm going to go because they have absolutely nothing. I mean, they have guys, but they're just not very good. So, I'll give them a C minus. It's just not good. So, what is that? 9, 12, probably. Now, let's look at the tight end position, which I guess gets better. And the tight ends they're going to try out on next year, next fall on Sundays is, it's definitely a group that I've, again, some experience, but he's not great. Tommy Tremble, really the only thing I remember from him is that he had that 1 touchdown versus the Bucs. It was basically like NFC South Championship 2 years ago against Tom Brady. But yeah, that's really about it. Yeah, he's not very good. Ja'Tavion Sanders, second best tight end I think in the draft. Again, he struggled a little bit with consistency in terms of blocking, but he's a reliable receiver, very good vertical threat at times. But again, if he's able to show a little more consistency for them, I very well think he could be their best weapon at times. Not obviously overall, but at times. Ian Thomas, he's a bum. That's just the best way to put it. He's been on this team for, 6 years, so he's doing 7 years, 6 years, whatever. He's doing something right, but that's really about it, though. Yeah, he can block. That's why. Steven Sullivan, another guy who can block. Also can snap. He's a weird dude. For tight end, though, that's going to probably be a D+. I mean, you got a rookie tight end who's the best guy. But they got some depth, and it's worse than I thought it was. They never really had a good tight end, but they've been able to work around it, and it's never really been the biggest issue for them, even though, it's not very good. 6 points. Time for the O-line. Okay, the Panthers O-line. They were bad last year. That's why they signed guys, obviously. Ikem Ekwonu was horrible last year. I'm just going to be blunt there. He had a promising rookie year, even though, he had a lot of issues in terms of, really sustaining blocks. But last year, he was just really bad, especially the run blocker. He's supposed to be able to penetrate, but he didn't do much of that. More just, kind of missing a lot. And as a pass blocker, I mean, he was a turnstile. I mean, I'd be really harsh, but that's what it looked like on film. Yash Niesman, I mean, famously, of course, protecting for Aaron Rodgers during 2021. Not very talented, not very athletic, but he does have good technique, and he can relieve guys of their duty if he needs to. Damian Lewis, they gave him the money. I never really thought much of him. He was kind of average. Aaron Donald dominated him, but I mean, he does it to everyone. He actually blocked them a couple times, so I guess that's good. But yeah, he's got good arms, strong arms. So again, when it comes to power rushers, yeah, you're not blowing them by. Brady Christensen, of course, the starter, last year for them is not great. But I will say this, he was probably the third worst offensive lineman on this team, which is saying something, I guess. Austin Corbett, he was good with the Rams, what was it, 2021, 2020, something like that. And he was okay with the Browns there, too. But last year he struggled, even though, again, he was really good in 2022. I want to see bounce back for him. Andrew Rhyme, UDFA at Oklahoma. He was solid for them. He kind of, like, flipped around. He wasn't always starting for us. Pretty talented guy, though, I'll be honest. Again, just hard worker. But I do think he has some athleticism. It's sneaky there. Robert Hunter, he got even more money than Damian Lewis. And he's actually pretty good. Really athletic. Not the most consistent, but, again, he can move guys. And, again, he kind of just does his job. Nash Jensen, he played like 4 snaps from what I can remember, and he just didn't look very good in those snaps. Taylor Moen, yeah, probably worst year of his career last year, even though, again, he's probably the most consistent right tackle overall. I'd like to see a bounce back from him, too. And I don't even know who this dude is, to be honest. He kind of just spawned in out of Rutgers. So, yeah, not the greatest depth, but I've seen worse. Nah, maybe not. Either way, though, O-line-wise, I mean, you got a turnstile left tackle. The interior is pretty good. Again, Austin Corbett, we're still waiting for bounce back on Taylor Moen. I'd be surprised if he doesn't bounce back. So the offensive line actually isn't even that bad. The depth isn't great though, so that's for the reason that I'll probably give them a C, maybe a C plus. But again, Taylor Moen he was not good last year. There's no way around. I'm gonna give them a C because Ikem Ekwonu, he's got like, again, it's a big year for him. The interior though, I'm not concerned about, but the depth and the fact that Taylor Moen wasn't good last year has to keep him at a C. But if again Taylor Moen bounces back, Ikem Ekwonu doesn't suck, they will be a lot better than this. Trust me. But yeah, it's actually offensive line with a lot of potential. But right now, I can probably give them a C, which comes out to 10 points, and ooh, time for this overall offensive grade. It's not gonna be pretty, guys. All right, when we look at this, we're gonna do some I'm not gonna math. My bad. It's the AI doing it. Either way, 50 total points of the computer. That puts this offense straight in F tier. I'm not going to give them F tier. I'll give them D minus. This offense was so awful last year, guys. I don't expect them to actually be much better, to be honest. But roster talent-wise, ooh, it's not great. So I get the idea that this receiving core, I'm being a little harsh giving them a C minus. But guys, let's be honest. There's absolutely no one. They got 3 receivers that are decent, but are they really going to be great? Like Xavier Gillette, for all I care, could be the best freaking receiver in the league. I like him a lot, but I'm not on the weed, so I'm not gonna say he's gonna completely change his offense, but I hope he does. But again, Deontay Johnson, honestly, maybe you could call him a #1 if you really want to be bold, but he hasn't been that in 2 years. So I'm gonna say he's probably a good #2. But outside of that, Adam Thielen's freaking 50. Again, Xavier Gillette, but after that, it's just a bunch of bums. So that's really the only argument, maybe being a big D. But guys, Bryce Young's bad. He was bad last year. I mean, you want to say he's going to be better? I really don't know if that's true. Because, again, your right end block, best part of your team is probably the offensive line right now. Tight end's always been bad. That's going to kind of skew it there. But, yeah, this offense, it's kind of crap. I mean, they were F tier last year, guys. They were horrible. I don't think they'll be that bad, but they're not going to be good. All right, now let's look at the linebackers. Of course, the preview to this video was talking about how good this defense was. I'm not saying this defense is elite, but they are a good group. Starting, of course, off with these linebackers that I really like a lot. Shaq Thompson, obviously, has been in the team for a while. Yes, he is 30, but he's still a reliable player. Only played 2 games last year because, what was it? I think it was his fibula or something. It was pretty awful. But I hope he gets better. Obviously, his best career in 2022, though. That's the truth there. So, I hope he can get better. Obviously, he's a pretty solid cover guy. Not the best, but he's pretty solid. Obviously, a very reliable player for them. He is the heart of this defense when it comes down to it. Actually, that's the one guy we'll get to later. Josie Jewell, tackling machine. Obviously, didn't have as many, kind of, I guess, in 2023, but yeah, still a really good player. Not the greatest cover guy, but again, still somewhat serviceable. Oh, we're doing this again. There we go. I don't know why it spazzes out like that. Like, it's fixed again. Either way, though, the backups, it's not great. All right, Trevin Wallace first. 3rd round pick. He's decent, I think, but who the heck was the other guy? He's on the freaking Giants. What's his name? Not Ray Davis. Holy crap. I mean, we just went over him. Where is he? The corner. Drew Phillips. Drew Phillips helped him a lot in terms of coverage. He struggled at Kentucky. There's no way around it. Like, again, especially against like Georgia. Ooh. But he's a decent player, and I like his tenacity. So yeah, that's good. Clouden Churchillis. This guy, yeah, hard worker, I guess. And after that, I'm gonna be honest, no idea who the hell these guys are. So they got 2 linebackers, and he's just. I mean, Trevin Wallace should be a good depth piece, but outside of that, just again, the friggin' Sahara. So, linebacker-wise, the starters are good. Like, these guys are above-average players. I mean, Shaq Thompson got injured, but he's also old. But Trevin Wallace, not awful depth. I'll give this linebacking core actually a B-. If we knew Shaq Thompson was going to be as good as he was, again, in 2022, and maybe they had an extra guy, they'd probably be a B, but it's not a bad linebacking core at all. 9, 18, 21 points. Now, let's look at the defensive line and, of course, the pass rush. Probably the best part of this team, of course, that being their pass rush and their defensive line. Let's first talk about the defensive line. A'Shawn Robinson played for the Giants last year. Definitely struggled in terms of the pass rushing, numbers, but he still wasn't bad. I think definitely could have been better. With the Rams in 2022, again, he's never been much of a pass rusher, to be honest. But, yeah, didn't get much pressure either way. He was good with the Rams in 10 games. Obviously got injured. So, yeah, again, he was a big part of that. Not really, but he was a solid part of that Rams piece team, of course, when they won the Super Bowl in 2022. Or 2021, my bad. But, yeah, he was okay with the Giants. He's kind of an average player at this point. Kind of, again, not too old, but he's getting up there. And, again, he's just a solid run defender. Shai Tuttle's very underrated. He's not as good as David Onyemata in terms of talent, but he was a disruptor last year, nose tackle. Definitely an above-average player at his position there. LeBrian Ray, I swear he played. He actually did. What was his name? Roy. Well, I forgot his name. Whatever. Another guy for the Panthers. He basically took his spot, and yeah, he's there. Nick Thurman, not a bad backup, of course, former Saint there. TJ Smith, not going to lie, I forgot he existed. Obviously, you do have Derrick Brown, who, of course, is the best run-stopping nose, whatever you want to call him in the league. He broke a record with 103 tackles for an IDL, which is just unbelievable. But, again, he's not obviously a great pass rusher, but who the hell cares? Because he does so much against the run and obviously just creates so much disruption. He is a top 5 defensive tackle in the league, in my opinion. Maybe, yeah, probably around there. Just such a good run defender. Either way, though, now looking at this pass rush, we'll talk about the defensive line grade. I'll actually give them a B+. Shai Tuttle and Derrick Brown Derrick Brown's obviously elite, and Shai Tuttle is also really good. So I'll give them a B+. Obviously, the depth is not awful. It's probably a little bit below average. Obviously, A'Shawn Robinson is average, so I'll give him a B+ though, because I really don't care. He's so good. That is Derrick Brown, obviously. 6, 12, 18 points. Okay, pass rush wise now. Okay, Derrick Brown and Shai Tuttle, they're not going to be the greatest in terms of, again, production, but they will get some penetration and help out these guys on the edge. Obviously, DJ Wanham is a very underrated player from, of course, the Vikings. Yes, he did benefit from having Danielle Hunter out there last year, as well as, who the heck is his name? Oh, my God. How am I forgetting it? Jesus. Vikings. There we go. Is he still here? I guess not. This is just spazzing out. Either way, though, they had somebody. Again, Danielle Hunter being there, I guess that really helps. He getting 8 sacks. He's had at least 3 in his whole career, and obviously was really good in terms of pressure. Again, they get a little help, but he probably is their best passer in terms of consistency. Amari Barno, big disappointment out of 2022, to be honest. Again, yeah, he was a 6th-round pick, but I really don't care. I thought he was a lot better than this. Again, last year, though, he did have no sacks, but again, he was pretty serviceable in terms of setting the edge. I would like to see him actually develop, please. I mean, he's a 6th-round pick, but still. Caleb Von Chason odds to a massive bust. Jadavion Clowney somehow already had 9.5 sacks last year. Yeah, he's old, but he's still pretty talented. And yeah, don't sleep on freaking Jadavion Clowney. But yeah, he's not a #1 pass rusher, obviously. So they're definitely lacking depth here at pass rush, but it's not the worst group I've seen. I'll probably give them a C+. Again, they don't actually have a true #1 pass rusher, but there is depth there, and they do have something going, so I guess that's pretty good. I'll give them C+, which comes out to 24 points. Now, let's look at the secondary, starting, of course, out with cornerbacks. Alright, corners for the Panthers. Obviously, they lost Dante Jackson to, I think, the Steelers, right? Yeah, that was the trade, right? Yeah, it was Dante Jackson for, what the heck? Holy crap, I'm spazzing. Deontay Johnson. Dante Jackson, I really think was a good, zone corner on the outside. Again, he was one of the fastest players in the league, too. Don't forget about that. But, yeah, it's not the greatest loss, but at the same time, I really don't care. Either way, though, looking at the guy that got back, Dane Jackson, free agency, he's not really a true starting caliber corner, in my opinion, but he was a good, solid guy in terms of a slot. I'll be interested to see how he plays the boundary. He will not be playing much, man. I guarantee that because again, Azir Evero, of course, their defensive coordinator, will not put him in a spot like that. But yeah, I think again he does have the goods to be out there. Troy, obviously, their slot guy. He's like freaking 32 now. He's pretty old, but he still does a good job. Still really gritty. Still very smart, and he rarely does get beat over the top. JC Horn, he's a true number 1 corner. He's super freaking talented, but he's never healthy. He's played that freaking 22 games in 3 years. I don't know what to tell you guys. But when he's healthy, he's freaking elite. Deshaun Jameson, not gonna lie, don't know who this guy is. Lamar Jackson, not the MVP. DiCarpio Boodle is pretty bad. And what happened to CJ Henderson? I swear he was still on this team. No, he is on the Texans. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. His ratings are pretty bad. Yeah, just not very good. Either way, though, corner, they've got 2 guys, 3 guys I'm comfortable with, then just a bunch of nobodies. There's absolutely no depth in this secondary. I will give them a C- probably is what I'm going to give them. Dane Jackson, Troy Hill are both probably average if, again, everything works out. If you kind of, like, counter that there. JC Horn, you're just not reliable, and there's nothing behind him. Maybe a C if you really want to be nice, but I got to give him a C- because they basically, really from what we've seen, we've got 2 3rd/4th string corners. And we've got JC Horn who's just never healthy. So it's not very reliable there, which comes out to 8 points for the corners. Pretty bad. Now let's get safeties. Of course, the Panthers did lose Von Bell to free agency again after they took him from the Bengals. He goes back there. Now, of course, they got Jordan Fuller out of free agency. He's okay. Again, injury struggles his first couple years, but with the Rams last year, he was a starting caliber player, and at times looked really, really good. I'll be interested to see how, again, he can improve his coverage instincts. But, yeah, again, he was a big part of that Rams championship team in 2021 as well. So, yeah, interesting player for them. I'll like to see how, again, Azir Evero, former Rams, assistant there, likes to use him. Nick Scott, he is just not great. I mean, just isn't, like, fast, just doesn't play the game fast. That's just the best way I can put it. But let's start with the Bengals last year, and he did something. I really liked how he played in 2021 for the Rams. Kind of struggled in 2022, though. I don't think he's a true starting caliber player. Good thing they have him as a backup, but he can make plays when he's used right. Xavier Woods is a starting caliber free safety, very good over the top. When in terms of averageness, I guess you could say, in terms of actually reliability, but he's not going to do anything crazy, and he's not going to freaking bring house any balls. Who will? That would be Sam Franklin Jr., who's a really good back safety, very fast, very lanky, which means he has really bad hips, but he can make plays, and yeah, he's fast. So kind of a like boundary corner, but since he has terrible hips, you have him in the box playing free safety, and you can play over the top when he needs to as well. Of course, that was 100-yard pick six. Bro, he's huge. 6'3", 210. Holy crap. No, it's not that big, but yeah, he's pretty big. Either way, though, safety-wise, I will actually give them a B-, because, let's be honest, Xavier Woods and, Jordan Fuller are not, they're not really, like, elite. I mean, really above average. I'm going to say, like, around a little bit, but I'd be okay if you gave them a B, because they actually have decent depth, like really good backups here as well, but, you know what, screw it, I'll give them a B. I like their safeties. That comes out to 9, 18, 24 points. Now let's look at the overall defensive grade, which will, of course, be better than the offense. Alright, let's do some more math. Yeah, I almost said it wrong again. 21 plus, plus 18 plus, 24 plus 8 plus 24. 95 points for this defense, which puts them in the C tier. I'm going to give them C+. I like this defense. They're obviously not the most talented. That's just the simple truth about it. But I do think Azir Evero will make them an above average defense when it comes down to it, which, again, will help with their identity, even though, obviously, when it comes to, like, their actual roster, defensive roster players, it's not elite. They do have a good defensive line, obviously. Pass rush is decent. There's no bad part of this, I mean, the corners are weak, but there's worse. No, there really isn't. But, yeah, again, corner's really their one downfall there. Again, if their pass rush does play way better than they should, then maybe, again, the corner isn't that much of an issue, but I think that will be the part that will probably keep them from being a really good defense. But if JC Horn's out there, they'll probably be fine. Either way, though, C+, and again, if JC Horn plays at an elite level, probably a B tier defense. Again, as well as, of course, the Evero aspect. Of course, it's a really good DC. With all that said, though, now let's get into the shenanigans of this, of course, the special teams unit, the overall depth of this roster, and then, again, the identity, which, of course, we'll see what this team will be in 2024. Alright, last thing before we, again, review the overall roster grade. First off, the special teams unit. Eddie Pinheiro. Again, he struggled with the Bears back in 2019, but he was probably the reason they actually won games last year. Again, he did screw them out of a, win over the Falcons 2 years ago, but I mean, he won them their 2 games this year, so, He's something. Johnny Hecker, still a really good kick punter. I really don't like getting rid of him. I mean, Ethan Evans freaking kicks bombs too. Punts bombs, my bad. So, well, I didn't mean like that. So there. But, yeah, that's about it. Amir Smith-Marset, really good return rating. He had a touchdown. Was 87-yard versus the Bears. So, I mean, that's something. Rasheed Blackshear. I mean, running backs being returners, I'm all for that. And obviously, J.J. Jansen, who is a old long snapper. I don't know. This special teams unit, I mean, I don't really, like, get jazzed up for it, but it's actually a pretty solid group. I'll give it a B. That comes out to 3, 6, 8 points. Okay. Depth of this roster. Quarterback depth. I'll actually give it a C+. I think Andy Dalton's good. Running back. C? C+? No, B-. Wide receiver depth. D+. I mean, they're answers, but they're not good. Again, that being for Terrace Marshall Jr. and Jonathan Mingo. Tight end depth, C+. Offensive line depth, probably a C. When it comes down to it, I'll probably give this offensive depth-wise, probably a C+, maybe even a B-. Honestly, screw it, we'll give it a B-. Linebacker depth, D. It's not good. Again, Trevin Wallace, no, D+. Trevin Wallace is something. Defensive line depth, C-. Pass rush depth, I'll probably give it a C+. I don't know, probably a C. You could argue it's even, yeah, I know, C-. Cornerback depth, F. It's awful. Safety depth, A? A-, probably an A-. So when we come down to it, it's probably a C and a B-, which I'm not gonna give him another C+. Screw it. I'll give this team's depth a C+. I mean, this is basically every team at this point, but yeah, C+. Really have no depth at corner. Like, that's really bad. But outside of that, I mean, they've got depth pretty much every other position, so it's decent, I guess. Yeah, you know what? No, that's still even C+. That comes out to 24 points. Now let's look at the identity of this football team. Okay, defensively, again, if J.C. Horton's healthy, I really think this team will be a really good run-stopping force overall. And again, J.C. Horton will be relied on to, again, be that guy who can just take away half of the field. And then they focus on the other half, which, again, helps out the pass rush a lot. If Derek Brown can play the way he played last year, this team will have a really good defense as long as J.C. Horton stays healthy. Again, they're relying on a lot, but I do like what they're doing on defense. Offensively, I mean, it's a crap show. But, I mean, Bryce Young takes a step. That I mean, potential-wise, I guess Bryce Young could be a little bit above average, but it's still a D because he was so bad last year. Either way, though, just because their offense we really don't know yet, I'll still give them a B because I do like where this team's going. Dave Canales, obviously, isn't the greatest coach, but he went there and they give him money. As long as David Tepper doesn't F things up, I think they'll actually have a successful year in terms of, again, what they want to do. And please lower your expectations, Panthers fans, because you guys are probably going to be awful again this year. But I will give you some credit there. I like what you guys are doing. 40 points. That is your identity right there. Now let's get to the overall roster grade. Math, what is that? 40. Okay, Jesus. 95. Isn't that what we got for the defense? I think it is. Yeah. 50. Not minus. 40. Holy. 24 and 8. 217 points. Oh, this is going to be bad. We got ourselves a, actually not that awful, C- roster. Honestly, I think that's actually where they probably sit. This roster actually isn't as awful as you might think it is. It's not good, but I've seen worse. I'll go with C-. Their defense, again, I do like. C+, yeah. The offense is a D-, but when it comes down to it, again, I like this team. I like where they're going. They might suck this year, but they're trying, which is not really all that matters. You got to be a good team, too. But that is all I got for the Panthers. And, I mean, yeah, that's about it. Either way, though, here's a preview for the next team.
Wentz throws, pass is caught! Touchdown, Boston Scott! 203, and Troy, he just made a great catch.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, they got Jabril Peppers, 21, who's locked up in man coverage. He comes out of the backfield, and then it's just a foot race, and can Wentz put the ball where it has to be thrown, and he absolutely does.